ready to go?
Yep.
Ready to do this?
Yep.
Ooh, yeah. Late ill kid at OneYoungsta. Hold it down. Bringing in StreetGeek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people? Today, coming with another one for episode of That's Right, Loungin. I'm sorry I kept y'all waiting. A whole bunch of stuff is going on. I know y'all know I don't keep y'all waiting like that normally. You know what I'm saying? You know I don't do that. You know I don't do that. You know I don't keep y'all waiting like that. But guess what? I ain't by myself. Lady Lisa, say hey.
Hey, y'all.
That's all she gonna say.
What? That's all
Did it restart?
It was doing the circle
Alright, so
thing.
it's doing this thing.
Well, no, now it's off.
Alright, word. Just give it to me. I'll handle that and handle this at the same time. This is, what you gotta do is what I gotta do. So, guys, you know what I'm saying? Usually in this show, we going through all kinds of news and craziness. We going through all kinds of wildness in the streets and what's going on out there for the folks from sea to shining sea.
Sea to shining sea?
You heard what I said.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
Also sea to shining sea, but whatever.
You know what I'm saying.
If your sea signs.
But what we're going to do is say this. Shout out to Marquise Collins. Shout out to Sandra Thomas. Shout out to Cassandra Sellers if she's in the spot. Shout out to, of course, SP the Soul Prophet with them beats. Shout out to Boogsworthy for coming through. Man, y'all made it another week. So, I'm sure y'all saw the title. Y'all know what's up. Let's go in and get into it because I hate wasting people's time at the beginning of streams. We got that HBO Max. We got that Fresh Prince. Oh, we got that 30-year reunion, boy. Before we get started, to the chat, to anyone watching the replay, let me know how y'all felt about the show. What y'all thinking? What are y'all initial thoughts? I'm going to throw it to Lisa real quick. In general, how did you feel about, the 30-year reunion special on HBO Max?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I love that they didn't just show a barrage of clips. You know what I mean? Because I know that happens a lot in reunion shows. It was more of them kind of, talking, and they showed clips that were relevant to what they were talking about at the time. So I just liked it. It was one of those things where you feel like everybody feels like, they're a part of the Fresh Prince anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as black folks, it's like we feel like that, about our shows. And Fresh Prince was one of our shows. You know what I mean? So It was like really touching, and I'm sure a lot of people were like, oh, I remember that, that kind of stuff. So it made you feel a part, of it, and I like that a lot.
Word. And Boogsworthy said, the special is so well done. Mm-hmm. I love how intimate it felt.
Exactly.
Because everybody came back to the living room.
Yeah.
And they were just so relaxed and kind of hanging out and chilling. It was like we were a part of their just gathering. You know what I'm saying?
And even little Nikki came back at the end.
Little Nikki came through.
So sweet.
With the mustache now. Look at you,
I was
boy.
like, who is that?
The boy done got grown. Oh, man, because, and I've talked about how black families on TV have been diminished after the 90s, but at this point in time, and even people are running back and seeing these shows now, at this point in time, these people became sort of like our extended family. Like, they talked about the things that we wanted to talk about, and they made fun of each other like we did, and they, Aunt Viv or Uncle Phil, they all became kind of analogs for people that we knew or people that we were, had come in contact with either in our families or maybe in our extended or our friends' families. So it was so fun to watch them come back together again and see that excitement for one another. Whether it was, Alfonso, Tatiana, Karen, any of them coming back. You had, was it Mrs. Reed come through? And Jeffrey, because I can't remember his actor's name, Jazz came through. So it was fun to have everyone really come back and just talk about these great moments that we remember. Speaking of great moments, and Marquise Collins said, good for Will Smith. He deserved it. Yeah, Will, he's seeing his growth since this moment, like going back and watching this and being like, oh, this is before Bad Boys. This is before Independence Day. This is like the genesis. And I know people will be like, oh, well, what about 6 Degrees? Man, come on, man. That wasn't like his movie. Like, this is his show. And real quick, shouts to them going in on like some of their favorite moments too. Lisa, what's a favorite moment of yours, and like one of your favorite moments from Fresh Prince?
Oh my gosh.
What up, Kid at Heart?
It's hard for me to pick. Like, you know what? I think the episode. I think the episode with what was it? De La Ghetto.
Raphael De La
Ghetto.
Nah, it was like
that was funny.
He was like, cannons to the left of them, cannons to the right of them, fire, whatever he said, something stupid. Mine that I always remember is when Uncle Phil is running for judge again. He's either running for judge the first time or running for re-election or something like that, right? And he gets, like, Carlton gets him this wig. And he, like, sits him in front of the... toupee, and puts him in front of the mirror. And he's like, who's that? Blair Underwood? And, like, Jeffrey walks by without missing a beat. He's like... wop babaloo bop wop bamboo. And like, yo, man, it's and so
Uncle Phil got mad, like snatching off his head through it.
Uncle Phil is so the funny thing, and let me know if for people that were young when the show came out, are there characters that you liked when you were young different than the characters that you liked when you were an adult? Because when I was younger, I was all about Fresh Prince. All about Fresh Prince. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Kid at Heart in the chat. Sandra Thomas, see y'all going back and forth. But when I grew up and bought the series on DVD, and I got it back home, when I popped it in, I was like, yo, Uncle Phil is hilarious. Like, I just didn't realize how many funny lines he had when I was younger, because I was so fixed on, you know, Carlton and Will's relationship. Mm-hmm. But then growing up, seeing like the stuff that like Uncle Phil did, man. Uncle Phil was funny, man. They even showed the clip from that episode when they pretended to be lawyers or something. Yeah. I can't remember what they went to court with Uncle Phil for. I can't remember what it was, but he was like, I want the truth. So it's like just moments like that were great. Also moments when they brought in when they brought in Uncle Phil's parents, he was kind of like semi-ashamed of them. Bringing in Aunt Viv's sisters. Yeah. And that was dope. Like,
when they had like the ski trip.
Yeah. They all came, man. It was cool. It was real cool. And then, of course, they played the clip of like, Hillary, will you marry?
I don't know a whole lot about bungee cords, but I don't think he's supposed to be splattered on the ground like that.
Yo, man. So it was cool seeing that, man. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was well put together. I think everybody got their piece to like kind of really recount what it meant to them and what was their favorite moments.
The only one who really didn't was Jeffrey. Jeffrey didn't say a whole lot.
Yeah, Jeffrey didn't say a whole lot. Like he talked about Raphael De La Ghetto. Yeah. But that's about it. Yeah. But I liked also hearing about the process of the show. Like we got our read on Monday, and then Wednesday is when we kind of figure out how the scenes will play, and then Friday is when we do it. And I assume Saturday and Sunday is the mad dash to edit everything to get it ready for Monday. But I really liked how they made a point to talk about how they had white writers and white, producers and stuff, and they would write things and they had to say, okay, this is cool, but nah, such and such wouldn't say this. Yeah. Or, Hillary couldn't say this like that. Or, Ashley would get smacked for saying this. Or something like, so I like how they even let us know, like, yes, we were very aware of our space in blackness and black culture. Mm-hmm. when it came to the things that we had to portray on screen. Like another show, like another episode that I love is when they got locked up for riding the BMW.
Yeah.
And because the guy was like, oh, drive my BMW down here to Palm Beach or whatever. And Will was like, all right, when he comes up, put your hands on the wheel, don't say nothing. He was like, hello, officer. He was like, put your hands on the wheel. Will was like, I told you. And then he said something, he was like, get out of the car, Carlton. Get out of the car. He was like, oh, this isn't my car. Oh, there you go.
Get out the car, Carlton.
Get out the car. Once you say it's not your car, it's over. It is over. Unless you're sitting unless the owner of the car is in the car, it's about to be some problems. Mm-hmm. If you're black. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for no one else, but I can speak. If you black, it's about to be a problem. But just bringing up issues like that I really dug, and yo, man, it was awesome to see how conscious they were about, their space and what they represented, then and now. And then it was just good to see their smiling faces after so long. So I dug that. I really dug that. We got to dig up the moments that were tearful, like the moment when Carlton had a gun when he wanted to get revenge, when Uncle Phil, when his dad left for the second time, when Will's dad left.
That infamous scene with him and Dr. Phil.
Or Uncle Phil, not Dr. Phil. That would be a very different show.
Sorry, Uncle Phil.
That would be a very different show.
That scene that brings you to tears no matter how many times you see it.
Yeah, it's like it kind of gets you. And so looking at those moments and then seeing that, the piece that they put together for Uncle Phil, it was touching. It was, so there were many moments to laugh about. What up, Diamond Tribe? Nice to see you. There were many moments to laugh about and kid about. There was a lot of togetherness. We got to understand a little bit of their process, how they would unwind, how they would open the show and get everybody hyped. Also how they would how they would play with tambourines and stuff just to get people energized. And then also where they talked about breaking the fourth wall and looking into the camera and stuff. Those moments were moments that we remember that were funny.
I mostly remember Will doing that, looking into the camera. Yeah.
And then even little silly stuff where Will would memorize everybody's lines.
Oh my God.
So then he would be mouthing the words.
And I never noticed that.
Yeah, because I never noticed it until they singled it out.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was funny, man. Just seeing these small pieces of look at how much fun we had, but look where we like bloopers that made it through, sort of. So I thought that was cool. But of course, that's not all we got. We had a reunion of not only Aunt Viv numero dos. We had the OG.
The real
she
Aunt
said
Viv.
She said the OG Aunt Viv. We
always call her
the real Aunt Viv.
Yeah.
But to her credit, they actually came to Daphne Reed first. But Daphne Reed was like, a show with a rapper. I'm good. What up, Jenna James? Nice to see you. And yeah, you're right, Marquis. Fresh Prince did have some tearjerkers. So we got the real Aunt Viv. She came through. She had a one-on-one with Will. As we all know, Janet Hubert has not been too kind when it comes to Will Smith.
Yeah, she's been just right out, just nasty and evil.
Yeah, and we saw a Red Table Talk that Fresh Prince, or that Will did with a psychiatrist that he knows, based on his relationship with Janet Hubert as well after this. And man, there's a lot to get into, but I'm gonna holler at Jenna James real quick. Says the only thing that would have made this better is if James Avery was still alive. You cannot make a better reunion show than this. You can try, but it's not going to happen. If you like the Fresh Prince, Yeah, this one is for you. One of the best TV casts that ever exists. Best role Will Smith ever had. Just my opinion. Everyone is entitled to theirs. Yeah, the real Aunt Viv with Kid at Heart. But yeah, man, if Uncle Phil was here, that would have been all we needed. But I wanted to dive into the relationship of Janet Hubert and Will Smith for just a second. We got some time. We got time. We just reviewing the we just reviewing, you know, the special. So we got a little time. I'll drop it to you first, Lisa. What jumped out to you when we saw not only the HBO special, but also then the subsequent Red Table Talk where he talks about it as well, where he gets into like some of his childhood stuff. Like, what jumps out to you about their relationship or what was going on? Because we talked a lot offline about it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like I kept saying, there's so much that we don't know, that we still don't know. You can tell by the way everything was cut, because it was clearly very cut when they showed them, you know, reuniting on the reunion show. I was like, this is extremely cut, and we didn't know how cut it was until we saw the extra pieces in Red Table Talk. And it's still, you could tell, was really diced up. So, you know, I just kept thinking there was so much more we don't know. You know what I mean? Because she talked so much about how hurt she was, and like, you know, pretty much about how nasty Will was and how he, you know, pretty much was responsible for, you know, destroying her career. And I'm like, there's so much we don't know, because in all fairness, we weren't privy to what all he said and did to get this ball rolling. All we saw was how nasty and vile she was on, you know, in these videos, and every time you would turn around, something's popping up about her saying something about Will and pretty much, you know, everybody. And it's like, oh, she's lost it. She's lost her mind. But it's like, but we don't know what sparked this whole thing. We got an idea. Yeah. A pretty good idea.
We got a pretty good
after
idea.
this.
You know.
And, you know, so now I have a better understanding of why she was behaving the way she was, because whether he meant to or not, he pretty much got the ball rolling to blackball her in Hollywood and pretty much ended her career, because we ain't see Aunt Viv never no more.
We ain't see her since.
Never no more again after this.
Now, there's a caveat to that, though, because we talked about this. You know, Will Smith at the time was 21. Mm-hmm. Brand new, never been an actor, doesn't really know about Hollywood. And she said that everything that she heard was coming from them. She kept using the term them. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming maybe the staffers or something like that.
Producers,
like producers or something like that.
You know, whatever.
So with all this back and forth, one thing that I really wanted to push out and stress is we're once again looking at two people that never sat down and actually spoke about what was going on with each other.
Yeah.
Now, Will Smith was 21. He's an adult, but he's very, you know, he's not mature at the level that Janet Hubert was.
Right.
Now, at the time, we finally find out that Janet Hubert was going through a lot of family stuff, abuse from her husband. The rest of her family was like trying to disown her and stuff. She was also pregnant. But taking that into your job and not letting anyone know what's going on, I can see someone saying like, yo, why is she tripping like this?
Yeah.
Why is she tripping all the time? Especially if you're 21, the ball is rolling, the show is a hit, everybody's having a good time. Why are you raining on our parade? Why are you always coming in here mad? And we were talking offline, and I was like, you know what? Honestly, the way Hollywood types are, Will could have been venting and it being taken from the producers as, oh, we got to do something about her. Because she said that they told me to stay in my dressing room. And I'm like, well, who are they? And the only thing I can assume is Will might have been venting to say Alfonso or somebody, and somebody overheard, oh, our star is you know, feeling bad about Janet Hubert. We have to do something. Mm-hmm. And Will might not have, because not once do we hear that a directive came from Will to do something about Janet. And since I've been on a few sets, people will overhear stuff and just take the ball and run. And you'll be like, yo, why are you doing this? I never said anything. Oh, well, we heard that, you said this, so we went on and put this in motion. I'm like, yo, I didn't even say I wanted that. I didn't want y'all to do that. Like, I was just kind of voicing an opinion, but I hadn't made a decision on something I wanted to do.
They probably saw themselves as being proactive. Last thing we want is for him to be unhappy, and then next thing you know, he's going to want to leave. So we got, so.
That's another thing about having a full set of like white producers and white writers and white directors and stuff like that, because there's a cultural difference about how we engage. Yeah. Like if me and someone else beefing, I don't want them gone. We ain't vibing right now. But that don't mean I want them fired or I don't want them to stay in their dressing room or something. So, and I'm just speculating because, of course, since they didn't give us the full thing, that's all we know. And then whatever war of words that they had or didn't have, now you have a lot left unsaid between these two people. And I'm like, if there's two people that are beefing like this and words are being left unsaid, not that I'm going to let the 21-year-old off the hook, but I don't know, was she like 40 or something by that time?
I think so.
She was like 40 something.
Probably like at least 20 years.
I have to lean the more mature approach to the 40-year-old to be like, yo, well, Janet, why didn't you be like, yo, Jenna, come on now, you know you wrong for doing that. But why wasn't Janet like, yo, James, look, I'm trying to get through to this kid. I just need to sit down with him. We ain't vibing right now, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like this could have been handled in like over a dinner with her, James, and Will to be like, oh, because Will said, I thought you hated me. That was a real, so Will saying, oh, if I'm under the impression, man, she's hating me. She hates on me. She doesn't like anything I do. And then she said she was so fed up with life stuff that his jokes and antics on set, she wasn't talking. She wasn't laughing at his jokes. She wasn't doing it. So I can see she's not saying anything, but she's not laughing at his jokes no more. And then we learn from the red table that comedy and stuff is how you kind of get everyone to be happy. So it's like, well, I can't make her happy. She's mad. She's angry at me. Because for him to say, I thought you hated me, is a huge deal for someone who wants your approval. And he said at that time, we already knew he wanted James's approval. Right. We already knew that. And he got it when he said, James hugged him and said, now that's acting. And then he wanted Janet's approval. So for someone who wants, you're wanting their approval and you feel like they hate you, that's a huge deal. But I feel like if they would have sat down and chopped it up, things could have been all right. And I mean, even in Lisa, you can attest to this. Even with people in the space in black media and stuff, now I've been like, yo, can we talk? Can we get together? Because there's sometimes when y'all might be beefing and y'all ain't even really the ones beefing. People been in both of y'all ears because he also said that he had like 20 dudes from Philly, chilling and hanging out with him. So who knows what his entourage might be saying or doing on set and causing extra stuff. And sometimes if like you and me can get together and say, okay, what's going on? Because I don't hate you. Right. So like, so and
so said, and so been telling me, and I heard.
Yeah, and then you can track down, oh, these people don't speak for me. That's not how I feel. I was venting because this is what happened on that day. Yeah. But I don't want you gone. I don't want you out here, whatever. Let's fix this because, I love you. You love me, blah, blah, blah. As we saw on the, they were hugging each other and you saw a lot of like a release going on. You know what I'm saying? Jenna James said like Jeezy and Gucci. Man, we ain't talking about that. But Antoine Allen, what up? What up? Nice to see you. And Tyler Bennett in the house. What up? Antoine Allen says, yeah, I noticed Alfonso got out there when Janet showed up. They had a war of words.
He was still there, too. Wasn't he?
Was he? Did he bounce?
No,
I have to look again. I can't remember if he bounced or not.
I thought he was still in it when she came in and hugged everybody.
Was he there?
I remember him being there.
Gone.
No, I remember him being there because I remember he was, talking and laughing. Yeah, when they were showing it, when they cut out the sound because they were all kind of laughing and smiling and hugging. I remember seeing him like laughing.
Okay.
In there. Yeah.
Because I might be tripping. Because I can't remember. What I remember her hugging the other Aunt Viv because that was the part that they focused on the most. You know what I'm saying? Because Daphne was like, I never met her. Like,
and everybody was like, life. What?
Yeah. And then in the Red Table Talk, it was interesting. He said there was a video that Janet put out there, and the one that I think the most recent one we all remember where she was coming with fire, boy. And he said he saw the thumbnail, but I can't remember who told him don't watch it.
He just said his people were telling him you don't want to watch that.
Yeah. So he said he never saw it. And I ain't gonna front. I don't know if I have that, you know what I'm saying? Because they be like, don't watch. I'll be like, man, let me go and look at this thing.
Yeah.
But actually, for your piece, sometimes you gotta not watch it.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody say something about you. For your piece, don't even hear it. Just be like, look. And then, I mean, I'm sure the family stuff, the husband stuff, them saying that she messed up their family name, her son being picked on, her being blackballed from Hollywood, then everybody running this narrative because, of course, from NBC standpoint, they're like, okay, she didn't renew the contract, she's gone, we hired someone else. That's it. But once the like Deadline and Hollywood Reporter and New York Times and Washington Post, and once everybody runs that same story, now everybody's reaching out to you for comment. So you have to kind of relive your firing or your contract dropping or whatever.
Well, the thing is, she wasn't even dropped. You know she declined. She declined to renew.
Yeah, she declined.
And my thing is this. If she hadn't gone so hard, if she didn't go like she did, it wouldn't have been all of these big stories. It wasn't a huge continuous story because she didn't continue as Aunt Viv. It was a big continuous story because of all of this nasty, vile stuff that was being put out, and everybody's like, what in the world is going on? Because every day in Hollywood, every day on a show,
people leave contracts all the time.
People leave contracts, characters, the actors portraying a character get replaced and stuff, all the time. But this kind of craziness does not happen. So it became like this big, hot thing, like, oh, what is she going to say next? Yeah,
and then her being so angry about the situation because there's so much fueling outside of the show. There's so much other stuff. Homegirl was, and it seems from my standpoint, it seems like everything became the show. So she left the show, but the hurt around leaving the show includes her husband abusing her, includes her family disowning her, includes the blackballing from Hollywood, includes her son being picked on. So she's putting all of those emotions into one thing when it's like, well, Will didn't make those things happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But, she was not happy for many years. But I'm glad that they seem to have come to at least an understanding where, the white flag has been flown from both sides, and now I can't even say both sides. Will hasn't said nothing about her in years.
Well, we don't know because when they were having that conversation, and she said, "We've said some nasty things about each other," and he was just like, So but I don't know.
Is she referring to public? Or is she referring to private?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because publicly, I remember him saying that she wanted the show to be her show. I remember that a long time ago. And see, he might have got that vibe because she's like, oh, well, she walking around like she ain't got to speak to nobody.
Yeah.
Oh, she must think this, you know what I'm saying?
Looking back at that interview, that was, he was grown, but that was a kid talking. I mean, he was
grown, but he wasn't at the maturity of a man.
Yeah, that's not something, if he was in that same situation now, he would never go on an interview and say that. He would be very vague and say, there are just some conflicts. He would be very vague about it. But, at that time, he just didn't have the maturity to be discreet, and not just kind of throw that out there. And at the same time, like we were saying, he had no idea the power that he had at that time in terms of what he was saying. He had no idea what it meant to say that a black woman is difficult on the set, and that would, in a lot, pretty much ruin her in Hollywood. He had no idea that people were paying that much attention to what he was saying. He's like, I'm
just a dude from Philly that made it.
Yeah, I'm just a rapper from Philly who happened to stumble upon this show. I don't know.
He said, Jazz said they had a day free from their tour. He left, came back, and was like, yo, I got a show. And which is a whole other thing I want to get into later. But I love that they were able to have their peace talk. Like Antoine says, I'm glad they had the peace talk. Will said on the red table, he wanted to give her time to vent and not put up a defense. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I'm very similar. I'll be like, I'll wait for you to say your thing and be like, okay, I see what you say. This is what I heard from that. You know what I'm saying? To let you know, okay, you said these things. This is how that made me feel.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we at now? Can we get to something? You know what I'm saying? And what up, Cooley High? Nice to see you. Tyler Bennett up in here just acting foolish. Don't worry about Tyler right now. Tyler tripping again. But the biggest thing that I think hurt on the show side from Aunt Viv is the colorist part where Daphne Reed was brought in. Now that we know that Daphne Reed was originally considered, I get it. But now that the role has been very distinctly black, dark-skinned woman, it is a stark difference. Yeah. To bring in Daphne Reed. There's no dark-skinned woman with her build. Yeah. That y'all could have found. I mean, even if she had different hair, I'd be like, y'all tried.
Yeah, it's rational. You know what I mean? If you want to be just strictly rational, it's rational for them to say, well, let's go back to our original choice. Yeah. But I wish some black folks had stepped in that were in power and were able to say, yes. However, for black folks, you cannot go from this, darker skinned black woman to this, light-skinned black woman, because it's going to take black folks a while to come to terms with that. There's going to be a problem because of colorism, and y'all really need to think about that. I think it would be better if we find some women that are closer to Aunt Vivian. I know y'all looking at me crazy because you don't understand, but trust me. Yeah. I wish there had been some black folks.
Shouts to the urban housewife in the spot. What up? And we even talked offline where it's like, these days, I don't know if the show would have survived that, because Black Twitter would have jumped on that joint.
I didn't hide Antoine Allen. Huh? It says I hid Antoine Allen. No, I didn't.
I don't know. Something happened anyway. Don't trip on that. But anyway, the weird thing is, it worked. It ended up working out, but I don't think these days. I really don't think. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad that I'm glad it didn't happen now. Because if it happened now, I don't know if the show would have made it through that, because of, basically Black Twitter would have ate that show up for that. You see that dumb stuff that they were trying for the table read for A Different World. You know what I'm saying? They tripping on that joint. Oh, Cooley High with, Cooley High coming through with this super chat. What up, what up, what up? Thank you so much. Every penny helps. Thank you so much to all super chatters, all Patreon supporters. Trust me, your pennies, your nickels, dimes, bills, all that go to good use, whether it's cords, batteries, chargers, cameras, lights, bulbs, whatever. Look, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Because you know we trying to get independent so we can give y'all more and more. But Cooley High says, yo, bro, just to show y'all some love, the reunion was dope. Yes, indeed. Cooley High, matter of fact, I don't think you were here at the time. What was your favorite part of the reunion? But with that said, I don't know if that show would have made it at that time. But moving on, though, I do like the story of how Fresh Prince got the role, because we were looking at everybody's, audition tapes. Oh man, Carlton's audition was not the smoothest.
It was not.
And actually, Hillary's was kind of, you can already see it there.
Yeah.
But Will Smith talks a lot about, he talked a lot about how they were at Quincy's house, and Quincy was like, oh yeah, all right, cool. Well, you can do the audition right here. And
I think we heard that story before on that video where that young man was doing like a remake, sort of a twisted remake.
He told a little bit of the story where he was with the guy who's shooting the sort of dramatic take on Bel-Air, and he told a little bit of the story, but he tells a longer version of it here. And I was like, yo, that's funny. That's a good example of like being ready. And then Lisa, what did you say? You not only ready, but what did you say?
But just being willing to take a chance on yourself. Yeah. Because there was no being ready for him. You know what I mean? Like there was nothing to be ready for. Right. He wasn't an actor, so he couldn't be ready. He just had to be willing to go for it. Exactly. And like the worst they can say to you is no. You know what I mean? But they at that time they were like, hey, we're willing to let you try.
He came out there. He performed for them. He said they signed like some kind of, I don't know, pre-agent draft document that night.
Yeah.
And like, so it's like, yo, that joint is crazy. And it just shows you never know. You just never know. Because he said at the time, he was like in debt to the IRS for $2.8 million. And, the album sales or whatever had been messing up something. And like all kinds of craziness. And you meet Quincy Jones, happenstance on this party, you get this opportunity, and you go for it. And you end up making a show that is extremely powerful and extremely poignant for Black culture for years and years to come. And shouts to Kid at Heart. Oh man, Kid at Heart, look. No, don't look. What y'all can do, if y'all ain't got a penny, don't trip. You know what you can do? Hit that like button. Share this stream. Share it to your peoples. Go and subscribe to it. Hit the bell. Tell your friends to subscribe. Tell your mama to subscribe. Tell your daddy. Tell your baby. If your baby this is an all ages channel to a certain degree. Sometimes my guests be going wild, but you know what I'm saying? Subscribe, share it to your peoples, put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter, put it on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? And that's free. That only take you, all you gotta do is click and maybe do some typing like, hey, look at NERDSoul, and then click it. That's free. Now, I mean, if you got arthritis, it might hurt your finger a little bit, but you be all right. You know what I'm saying? Take some icy hot. I don't know. But anyway, Cooley High says, when they talked about James Avery and how Will and Janet forgave each other and it showed the power of forgiveness, it showed growth. Yeah, I love that. I really dug that. I really dug the Uncle Phil spot and seeing how they related to each other and talked to each other while they were in the table reads, and how he had called them his daughters and his sons and stuff, and how loving they were to each other. And I mean, I'm sure you guys know, you might have been at a job for like 4, 5, 6, 10 years or whatever, and you kind of grow this crew at that job. Like for me, I used to work overnight. Shouts out to Richmond Comcast, Staples Mill Road. What up? Y'all know the deal. Call center chilling. but I used to work overnight. I used to take them pay-per-view. That's right, them pay-per-view nasty calls. I used to get them. So anyway, so I have a crew of people that I worked with that we're still close now. I mean, sometimes we butt heads, like brothers, but we are still close and we still hang out. Every time I go back home, we hit up Zaxby's and we get some food. You know what I'm saying? But it's so, these people work together, but they did sort of kind of grow this familiar bond that shows. And honestly, as good as they are together chemistry wise, I have no doubt you could make a show now, call it anything. It could be about anything with these same actors, and it would be just as magical because of their chemistry. Because outside of acting, they dig each other so much and love each other so much, and it's dope. Boogsworthy says, shouts out to Zaxby's, top tier chicken. Yo, look, if y'all don't know, Antoine, I'm from Richmond. Virginia. I'm not in Richmond right now. I'm in LA, but I'm from Richmond. So shouts out to Richmond, 2 up, 2 down. You know what I'm saying? We keep it real. But, Zaxby's though, the Zaxby's chicken. Zaxby's is the hotness. But, I like that. They're magic on screen. Just in watching them talk about the show that we've already watched, it's so great. You know what I'm saying? What's up?
No, I'm reading Kid at Heart.
Oh yeah, because I was talking about the call center, how people were calling pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? Maybe one day, you know what? Maybe I'll do a job. Maybe I'll do a show where I talk about all my jobs and all the crazy stuff that happened. Because there's some crazy stories, especially at the call center. Whew, there's some crazy stories.
You know what, Kid at Heart? Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
Oh, man. But anyway, with that said, shouts out to Antoine Allen. Cool. That's right. Richmond is dope, man. Richmond is home. So, you know what I'm saying? Richmond, Henrico, Chesterfield.
You from Richmond, Antoine?
Antoine, you from Richmond? Or you let us know. Let us know if you're from Richmond. You know what I'm saying? Don't sleep. But yeah, so I love that part. And that's what I got from this mostly, is to make sure that when we're beefing and butting heads with each other, if we haven't talked, make sure that we actually talk to each other.
Yeah. Because
they hadn't talked to each other while they were on set. She was like, I wasn't speaking to anybody. I was just kind of staying in the dressing room, and I wasn't talking. I was just kind of like reading my lines and then going back, I guess, back to the trailer or whatever. And, she was kind of like separating herself, even though I guess she had been told to separate herself.
And this mess festered for 27 years.
Yes.
27 years.
Will Smith's whole adult life, she has sat with this heat. You know what I'm saying? For him. Antoine says, yeah, Southside Richmond right now. Thinking ahead into ATL. What?
Wait a minute. Southside.
Southside? You know Southside? What part of Southside? You know what? Antoine, what part are you on? Are you like Hull and JD?
What high school did you go to?
Yeah, what high school you go to?
That'll tell us all we need to know.
What Southside you on? You go to With?
Or did you go to Monacan?
You went to Monacan. You went to that's Verina. If you went, but it'd be like, look, where you went to? You know what I'm saying? If you on Southside, where you went? But yeah, that's what I got from this. It was really fun to watch. We got some healing in it. We got some great moments. We got to see how beautiful the cast works together even now. We got to
is that not East Side High? Oh wow.
Yo, George Witt is straight up East Side High, y'all. I ain't going front.
Wow.
That joint, right across the street.
Wow.
Right across the street, like the hood right there.
What you mean across the street? George with hood? Oh, sorry. Well, I mean, but my bad.
George with hood, but then right across the street, it's like, yo, y'all got cement floors, B. They ain't even put carpet in here for y'all?
Who had carpet? We ain't had no, you know good and well you had no carpet.
We ain't giving no carpet. y'all are all Section 8. Y'all ain't getting no carpet. But nah, with that said, dug it a lot. And even Jazz's part where he was talking about, yo, they did takes where they threw me out the door like 100 times so they could like recycle the takes. He was like, so whenever you saw me with this shirt on, you knew I was getting thrown out. So it was cool, man. It was really cool. Shouts to Cooley High said, yo, Will gets it, especially after having grown kids and a wife and an entanglement. But real talk, this reunion was needed. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Especially in a year like this, we could use some good times. Yeah. With a cast that we all know and love. Yeah. But with that said, is there anything else that you wanted to air out from, the review from the show that stood out to you? Anything else that you wanted to touch on? No,
I thought they did a really good job, and they paid their respects to Uncle Phil and everything. And I would have liked to hear more from Jeffrey, but
you did say
I don't
Jeffrey
know.
Didn't really talk a lot.
Yeah, I really don't know why he didn't talk much, because I'm sure he had a very different experience, with the role he played. You know what I mean? I just would have liked to have known his take on his relationships with everyone. You know what I mean? But,
Shouts to A1 Star. Yes, we saw the Red Table Talk. If you have a question about that, let me know. Go on in and let me know the question you got about the Red Table Talk. But yes, we saw that. I dug it. I dug it a lot. So with that said, we have exercised the demons. Oh no, Will didn't have an entanglement. Jada had an entanglement that Will had to endure.
She insinuated he's had entanglements.
Yeah, but I
don't know.
Look, we don't know that.
But we know for sure enough she did.
We know for sure enough she had an entanglement. With her son's friend. That's weird, right?
That's weird. It's very weird.
And that's a whole other thing.
If Will had done that, Lord have mercy.
You guys have heard me say it multiple times. I am so glad this was not Will. Because if Will had slept with Willow's friend, it would be all kinds of Me Too stuff.
Yes.
Pedophile stuff. It would have been the toxic masculinity.
Yep.
It would have been you would
power
dynamic, all kinds of stuff. Jada does it, nothing. Nope. We just laugh at Will. We just make memes of Will, and that's it. But that's so. Honestly, don't get me wrong. I wish Will didn't have to go through that. Yeah. But thank God it was Jada instead of him. You know what I'm saying? Because it could have been a whole nother issue.
But I'm gonna tell you, I stopped watching Table Talk after that one. This is the first time I've watched Table Talk after. It's only because I knew it was Will. Yeah. But after that, because I love Table. I told you about Red Table Talk.
Yeah, you loved it.
I loved it before that, but after she sat at that table and I was like, okay, Jada, I can't with you.
Jada always been fake deep. She always been like pseudo deep, but that's a whole nother show. A1 Star says, I thought Aunt Viv should have been at the red table. I
thought she was going to be.
Yeah, I thought she was going to be. And when she wasn't, I was like, oh, snap, okay, well, maybe,
she just may not have been ready for that.
Maybe she wasn't able to travel or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of times, even on something as small as my level, when, you guys might be like, hey, we want you to do a show with somebody, like, schedules don't be lining up like they're supposed to. So,
she ain't working. It's true.
I ain't messing with
she
you.
She ain't working.
That girl ain't doing nothing. What is she doing?
Nothing.
But no, look, okay. It's been almost 30 years, right? She ate food, didn't she? She wore socks, drawers, took showers, didn't she? Used soap, deodorant. True. Where'd she get the money from to do that? She had to have a job.
I guess so. I don't know. Maybe she was doing stuff. You know what? Maybe she just wasn't able to do stuff on TV. Maybe she went back to Broadway and that kind of. Maybe she was doing that.
Because that is a whole nother scene.
Yeah, because that's pretty much mostly on the East Coast. So maybe, they was like, okay, you've been doing this before. Come on back.
Cooley High said, yeah, I stopped watching it as well. How Jada gonna give advice to people and you can't keep your house in order? Well, Cooley High said she getting those residual checks. Yeah,
that's true.
Right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And Tyler Bennett said she could have been on Zoom, but I mean, we don't know what her internet like. You know what I'm saying? She might have that AT&T. Oh, AT&T, you know your internet is crap. Oh, boy. Anyway, with that said, guys, we have exorcised the demons. I think we've covered everything that we could cover, especially with you guys in the chat. And if you're watching those replays, just hit us down in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. So, to the chat, you know what I'm saying? To the Chizat. Big shout out to Cassandra Sellers, Jenna James, Tyler Bennett, Kenneth Hart, Cooley High, A1 Star, Antoine Allen, Richmond, Virginia, stand up. That's right, man. That's right. Shouts out to Southside. Love Southside. Man, man.
We from the field though. If you want to be
we from Chesterfield.
We from the field.
But I still love Richmond. Just that area, man. I love Richmond. Shouts out to 295, 95, 288, 76. You know what I'm saying? 147. All 804 for life, y'all. But shouts out. Oh man. Shouts out to Boogsworthy. Shouts out to Markeith Collins, who was up in here super early.
Not the cornfield, Kid at Heart.
Yeah.
Not the cornfield.
Not the cornfield. From Chesterfield. You know what I'm saying?
Antoine Allen.
He said arrest the field. Yes, Antoine Allen, you are right. Arrest the field. The cops in Chesterfield County will pull you over because they're bored.
And like, you're black.
They'll pull you over and you'll be like,
two B's. I'm bored and you're black.
You'll be like, hello, officer. How may I assist you? They'll be like, did you know that you were alive? Yeah.
Did you know that you were black?
Did you know that you were black? Take this ticket. What is this ticket for? I don't even know. Just shut up and take this ticket. Yo, Chesterfield, man. I've gotten pulled over for so many non-issues. Did you know how loud your music was? I didn't sound loud. I didn't think it was that loud. I apologize, sir. Well, you're going to take this. Well, no. He didn't give me a ticket, but he did pull me over. He gave me like a 30-minute lecture.
And weren't you like a mile from your mom's house?
Yeah, I was like mad close to home. He was like, do you know how loud your music is? And then proceeds to give me like a 30-minute lecture on like loudness rules and stuff. I was like, all right. Thank you. What? I didn't get a ticket, so I guess that was good, but I also got pulled over when there was like no reason to get pulled over. He could have just let me drive down the street and go home. But so shouts out to everybody in the chat. Big love to all y'all. Cooley High says, imagine living here in Mississippi. Jesus, take the wheel. I don't even drive at night. Yo, look, man. What? Hold up. Killmonger the Rebel, is that true? Killmonger the Rebel, don't look, Killmonger the Rebel.
You didn't hear that? I even heard it.
Don't you lie to me.
Yeah.
Is that true? I thought they were going, because they just said they were spinning off Killmonger into his own show. So why would they end Black? Yo, you know what? You know what though? Here's the thing. End it on a bang before it goes too long like The Flash and Arrow and gets whacked. So you know what? I'm fine with that. End it when it's still good. Because season 1, 2, and 3, I enjoy. So end it while it's still good before it gets old and whack. You know what I'm saying? Because Arrow hasn't been dope since like the middle of season 3. Flash hasn't been dope since like the end of season 2. So I'd rather them, end it on a high note. But with that said, guys, thank you for coming through. NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all them places. YouTube is the hub. So right now, what you can do to help me out, hit that thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. If you hit that thumbs down, I'm going to send Janet Hubert after you. All right? She go, and you know she don't play. She going to be all up in your DMs, making videos.
She going to be mad with you for 27 years.
She going to be mad at you for 27 years. All right? I got podcasts out there if you rather listen. Also Spotify for that music, so do not sleep. But thank you for coming through. Cooley High for the super chat. All of my Patreon supporters. You know what? It's been a while since I haven't shouted y'all out since last week. So real quick to all my Patreon supporters. Big shout out to who we got? Thought Crimes. We got We got Thought Crimes. We got Tyler B. We got, Boogsworthy, Enrique Carrion, Fillmore Pockets, Jamal Lee, Kiwi23, Panda, Sean Wynn, Thought Crimes, Tim I, and Tyler B. Thank you so much for your support. Man, y'all can support in many ways. For pennies, dimes, to dollars, or just hit me with that click. You know what I'm saying? Share that. Tell your mama to watch the show. Tell your cousin to watch the show. But with that said, I'm going to leave you guys with Arcatron. That's ARCKATRON.com. The Space Bridge is in stores now. Go check it out. Arcatron is a beast. Y'all heard SP the Soul Prophet at the top of the show. So we're going to close you out with some more dope music. So, of course, thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging. And from us to you, we're just saying peace. And a woo for you.
Bye, y'all.
Yeah, Lisa, say peace.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Yeah. Go.